and soul constitute with the self the imperishable, unchanging man. Yet so absurd are the ways of men, and so far have we drifted from essentials, that few of us consciously realize our essential godhood.
So we'll just show
that we, like Christ, like Buddha, like Krishna, are sons of God, gods in all verity. As the will is the active, energetic, creative power in man, and inasmuch as in practical magic, the wand is the ceremonial instrument of creation, so is the wand the true symbol of the spiritual will, one, upright, towering to the heavens, a mighty and irresistible power of creation. The intuition, being in opposition to will on the tree, is feminine and passive, representing the true spiritual vision of the soul or imagination. Like the chalice on the altar, it is ever open to receive the dictates and commands issuing from above. To it also is referred the spiritualized imagination, which, with the will, are the powers par excellence utilized in magic. The more one opens oneself to the divine will and the divine imagination of the inner self, the greater does one become in the manifestation of one's godhood, an oracle of the Most High, a spotless vehicle of the purest spiritual fire. Below the abyss, the next 5 sephiroth are named the human soul, a composite principle of reason, will, imagination, memory, and emotion, centered in the sephira of harmony. It is this mind which is the evolutionary vehicle of the real self, a mechanism, so to speak, created through long eons of toil and suffering, as a means of acquiring contact with the outside world, so that by means of the experience thus obtained, the self may come to a self-conscious realization of its own divine powers and high nature. It is in this mind that self-consciousness is centered. Although the psychological anomaly is true, that this perceptual mechanism, evolved solely as an instrument, comes to usurp the power of that which gave it birth, setting itself on a pedestal as the ego, as that which has real power, insight, will, and the ability to solve the problems of life. In magic, it is this empirical ego, this lower self, which must be offered up in sacrifice to the higher self. As the concept of sacrifice implies that that which is renounced should be the best and the greatest sacrifice, so a well-developed mind, well-trained in all the processes of logic and thought, well-stored with things of its own realm, is the greatest sacrifice which the student can lay upon the altar as an offering to the Most High. He that loses his life shall find it. Lest there be some misconstruction placed upon the words destruction and abnegation and sacrifice of the ego, let it be understood clearly that the principle itself is not destroyed. That, of course, is an impossibility in nature. But the false values of the ego, its complacency, the illusion that it possesses, that it alone is real and permanent, all else being its creations, these are offered for destruction. When the smugness and the false egoism in the mind is rooted out, it is an instrument of the soul than which few could be better. The 9th sephira is the